Are you frustrated with your weight and feel guilty because you love carbohydrates? I'm Dr. Lou, and I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I see too many people yo-yoing with fad diets that ruin their health. I'm going to talk about easy dieting and how to use carbohydrates to lose weight and get healthy. Now, eating should be simple, but it's complex because the foods sold in stores and restaurants are processed with chemicals with the purpose of making you eat more. Unfortunately, these processed foods are delicious, but high in calories and low in nutrients, which result in inflammation in your body. Now, your body speaks to you through symptoms of inflammation, meaning if you're doing something bad, whether on purpose or by accident, your body will show you through the cardinal symptoms of inflammation to make you quit doing that. Inflammation gives you symptoms of pain, swelling, tiredness, redness, and weight gain, amongst countless other symptoms. Basically, excessive inflammation makes you age. Now, carbohydrates are totally misunderstood. They're absolutely essential for your body. Even if you're on a ketogenic diet or don't eat at all, your body will make sugar called glucose on its own every single day, every minute. This is why we check people's blood sugar, because you will pass out and die if you have no glucose in your body. On the flip side, drowning in sugar is not good. It's like water. You need access to it, but you don't need your house to be flooded. So to control your weight and protect your body from inflammation, you have to eat good quality carbohydrates. Eat them first and eat them until you are almost full before you eat processed foods or animal products. Now, ideally, if you can keep eating in an 8-hour time window, like don't eat for about 16 hours in a 24-hour day, you will see more dramatic health benefits. So the question is, how do you find good quality carbohydrates? It's actually very simple. Ask yourself this one question. Can you tell what you're eating without reading the ingredients on a label? In other words, eat real food, eat whole food. Eat foods that are unprocessed before you eat any processed foods. And here are 2 important reasons why. One crucial carbohydrate is actually 0 calories, but essential to weight control, reduce inflammation, and your health. It's called fiber. That's right, fiber is a carbohydrate. Your body can't make fiber. No animal can make fiber. You won't find fiber from cheese to chicken breast. It doesn't have any fiber. There's only 2 kingdoms that have fiber, and those are from plants and the mushroom kingdom. Fiber makes you full, increase your metabolism, helps you poop, reduces toxins, improves your blood flow, and reduces metabolic diseases like diabetes, fatty liver, and high cholesterol. It is also food for your gut microbiome, the trillions of germs living in your gut that are essential to reduce your inflammation and improve your health. And when you don't eat fiber, you are starving your friends, and you're really promoting inflammation in your body. And it's really not hard to find fiber. Any plant eaten whole will have fiber, but the key is not to break apart that fiber. So blending and grinding your food will break apart fiber and take that work of digestion away from your body. So a person with malabsorption issues would benefit from eating blended and grinded foods like shakes. But if you don't have problems with absorption and if you have metabolic diseases, it is absolutely protective for you to chew your food, like eating a whole apple instead of eating a baked apple, applesauce, or even worse, drinking apple cider or apple juice. Cooking also will destroy fiber. Now, some foods you have to cook, like beans and grains, but other foods you should eat fresh, like fruits and vegetables. So this is why when you eat blended cooked foods, like breads and pastas and cookies, you tend to gain weight. And your metabolism gets worse, as represented by high blood sugars. There are labels that say you're eating whole wheat or whole oat, but if it's processed and glued together, that processing destroyed the fiber to make the food. And it really matters not whether you buy fresh bread or you're baking bread in your kitchen. The processing is what's destroying the protective mechanism for your body. When we eat fiber in the original plant from the original whole food source, let's say you're eating durum wheat berries, which is equivalent in weight to eating bread or cookie or your cake, Your blood sugar will be more stable by eating the whole wheat berry, and your inflammation will improve and your weight will be more stable, or you'll lose weight. Really, processing allows people to add fat and strip the fiber, really to make the food taste better, because fat is tasty and it'll be more shelf stable. So when you add processed oil, whether that's butter or olive oil, you are putting a lot of calories in that food that will give you inflammation and make you gain weight. And again, processed foods, whether it's a single ingredient or, olive oil or sugar like honey, it's metabolically unhealthy. And if you're trying to control your weight, then those ingredients need to be limited. They are also devoid of fiber, which again tells you that they are not healthy foods, and you should limit anything that doesn't have fiber. Now, a second important concept is to learn to recognize unprocessed food from processed food. Now, it's actually quite difficult because we have normalized processed food. So this white rice is actually processed food. But there's nothing wrong with eating white rice if you're trying to control your weight, because if all you ate was white rice, you wouldn't gain weight. And this was proven by a doctor called Dr. Kepner, who worked at Duke University, who helped cure malignant hypertension and to treat obesity back in the old days. However, this diet is nutrient deficient and people could get really sick, so you don't want to do this on your own. But white rice, which is a somewhat processed food, is devoid of fiber as well as nutrients like thiamine that the original rice had. So this is why we want to stick to unprocessed foods. Now, if you have to eat rice, make it brown, red, purple, put some color in your rice. You'll get some phytonutrients as well as fiber. But honestly, I try to minimize my rice because rice just has a lot of arsenic in it. Arsenic is just that metal in the ground because of industrial pollution, and the rice grain just sucks it all up. So I tend to eat other grains because I just don't want my body to have to worry about arsenic. Another heavily processed food and misunderstood is a potato. So if you think that this is going to make you gain weight, you're absolutely right, because this potato is cooked with fat. The potato by itself, though, if you don't put all this added fat, is actually good for you. This boiled potato has been proven to help people reduce weight. Potatoes are super nutritious. They're packed with fiber, essential vitamins, as well as proteins and carbohydrates. And this little plant helped to get countries out of famine. So there's nothing wrong with eating potato as long as you don't add all the fat and calories in the fixings with the potato. Here's a little tip. If you refrigerate your potato, you can reduce the sugar load that you absorb in the potato, so that if you have sugar issues, you may want to refrigerate your potato before you eat it. So let's talk about a practical example. So on this plate, you see unprocessed carbohydrates as well as processed carbohydrates, and on the side you see some animal products. To protect your metabolism and inflammation, I would actually eat the lowest calorie, highest fiber, nutrient dense food, and that would be produce, basically fruits and vegetables. I would recommend you eat that first and eat that until you're halfway full. After this, I would eat the protein rich, high fiber, nutrient dense foods, which are the grains, beans, and the roots. If after this you're still hungry and have room for the chicken, go ahead and eat it. But don't feel obligated that you're missing out on nutrients if you skip the chicken. Really, if you eat a variety of plants, both above ground and below ground, you'll get a variety of nutrients. Now, keep in mind that most diets, whether you're eating plants, animals, or both, will be nutrient deficient, especially from vitamin D, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. If you incorporate these principles with good quality whole food, you really never have to diet. What I have been describing is a way of life for millions of people on this planet who are active and healthy in their old age. If you're on medication that affects your metabolism, like diabetic medication or blood sugar medication, Please consult with your prescriber before you make any changes, because you can dramatically reduce your blood sugar and blood pressure to dangerous levels within the first few days of starting this whole food diet. Best to you in your health journey. If you like this video, you'll love the next one. See you there.